Next up, we have Fiilex, and Jeff Lee is going to tell us about their lights with help from Jim Amarosino and Galen Hans.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to keep this really short and sweet and simple. So I'll talk a little bit basically just about hard light, which is what our company focuses on. I'm Jeff Lee. I'm the head of product development here at Fiilex. And I'll just start with the question, where are LED hard lights? We get asked that a lot. I think people who are cinematographers, DPs, gaffers are asking that question, specifically for LEDs. And the simple answer I have for this, just from a purely technical point of view, is that I think that we don't see a lot of hard lights because we don't see a lot of point sources. And so this is kind of a simplified graph, but on, I guess, your left, we have point sources, HMI, tungsten bulbs, laser light, things like the sun. And on the far right, we see a lot of more kind of what I call multi-point sources. Typical LED light engines, most of what's in panels. Part of the reason why you see them all more multi-point sources, this is really how LEDs started, right? There's a lot of single chip packaging and things like that. And what I'll comment on a little bit is what our company does. We're a business unit of a much larger lighting company, Dicom Fiber Optics, and then we make our own light sources. And so if we need point sources to make hard light, then why don't we just make a point source? Again, the short answer is it's really hard. And the reason why it's really hard, I mean, there are several, but I think the main things are challenges related to making things small. There's electronic packaging. Back in the day, if you're used to basically surface mount resistors and components like that, they all take a physical space, and when you want to pack things down, you have to worry about material properties and wire routing, things like that. There's also an issue of heat, right? I mean, we're taking something that's used to be 300 watts, and now we're squeezing into something that's more of a point source, right? And so it goes as, if you guys are all used to the 1 over distance squared, right? It just goes as distance squared, and so things are getting smaller and smaller. There's also the hard reality is also there's just the cost of the facilities and manufacturing. I've been in a very fortunate situation where we basically have that to our disposal. And so Fiilex has its roots as a tech company. We're based in Richmond, California. This is our building in Richmond, California, which a few of you have kindly visited. It starts with R&D, a lot of patents. We have a private fabrication facility, so this is used exclusively by Fiilex, about 500 employees. And from that, and on the right, I have just the inside of the clean room. And so that's an environment where you have to gown up, and we do essentially semiconductor processing to make these LED chips. And then from that, we make what we call our dense matrix LED array, and that's that small point source which goes into every single one of our light engines. So we really specialize in hard light because our technology is for hard light. Great. And so I just want to highlight a few of our products. This is the Quad. We released this late last year. It's essentially a 12, or actually like a 13, roughly 1,300 watt fixture. And it's used a lot in condors, off bounces. This is a really, really nice rig. One of our friends down in this area actually put this together. That's 2 quads bouncing off a 20 by 20. And we're able to fill, essentially in that case, was a football field. And then what's really nice also is that we have a lot of different lensing options. And so our approach at Fiilex has really been to start with the LED or the array and build fixtures around that. I wish it were as simple as just changing a light bulb, but it's not. And so it's this iterative process between designing an array, building a fixture around that, optimizing your lenses, and then going back and forth. And we have all of those in-house. And so again, this fixture, the Quad, I apologize we didn't bring it onto stage. It's actually in the back by our booth, so if you want to go check it out, we have one there, as well as all our lenses. And these lenses, again, give you the ability to go, like for instance, wide is 100 degrees, 30 degrees, and 18. The second product I want to highlight is our Fresnel line. And so I think we did actually show the QA travel here last year, and I'm very happy to show everyone, basically you guys get the first kind of public look at our upcoming Q5, which my colleague Galen has here. And so what we have here is essentially a kind of, roughly a 650 equivalent, tungsten equivalent. It's actually about 175 to 180 watt LED powered fixture. We have this powered here off a broadcast battery. You see the orange thing hanging on its, and so this thing's computed with. There we go. So this Q5 is, we call it the 5 because there's roughly a 5-inch Fresnel in front of it. We have right now, this is at, we're at full flood. And so it's about a 50-degree wide, and why do we want that hard point source? It's because it gives us shadows, right? So, we can cast really hard shadows. Galen, you're able to cut this with the barn doors, for instance, and that gives a lot of control over the shaping, right? And that's really what we specialize in hard lights that you can shape and change the colors on. And so actually this is, basically a colored fixture. And so Galen, actually you can just toggle through the colors, and it gives you all the different colors you need. I mean, with us, that fabrication facility you've seen, we do a lot of color science. We use 40 different flavors of phosphors. We have a clean room. It's a lot that goes into it, but I kind of push that in the back because no one really wants to hear about that. And then this also gives the ability to spot. And so the point source combined with custom optics lets us get down to roughly a 15-degree spot. And so this is our Q5, which is coming soon. We'll probably bring this out around kind of NAB time. And we also have the Q8 we actually have in the back as well. And so that's the fixture release again last year. And that also has it's a 320 watt fixture, but that has like a 12 to 6 degree flood spot. And then, so this is what we're calling the MAG 4K first edition. Pretty neat fixture. So this is essentially a 900 watt tunable white. And so it gives you the ability, thank you, Jim, to go from your tungsten to your daylight very continuously. I think someone earlier mentioned, doing tracing the black body or the Planckian curve. We do that very accurately by using many, many different groups of phosphors. And at kind of natively like this, we're about 100 or so degrees wide. And again, because the point source is actually no bigger than a silver dollar, we can cut quite sharply. And so we're probably less than 6 feet away from the stage, and I can still cast a really good shadow. No color fringing or anything like that, again, because once you start packing things very, very close together, it basically looks like a point source. Like you take any fixture, you put it 20, 30 yards down, away from the camera, and it looks more and more spotty. This fixture here, I mean, if you look at it on the wall, at the 100 degrees, it's very, although it can be used as wall wash, we have various accessories, such as we have the different PAR reflectors, and then in this case, thank you, Jim, we also have, everyone knows what that is, basically that's the ETC source for LECO. And so we kind of came up with a system that allows you to use a bunch of interchangeable accessories, many of which are already in the industry, because we really want these to work with tools that filmmakers and gaffers and our users already have. And so again, this is the MAG 4K first edition. We will launch a more finalized version of this very soon. Currently, I have many dozen of these floating around, both the US and Europe. And if you're interested in checking one of these out, just give us a call, and we'll happily set you up with a demo. And kind of the last, just a thank you really to everyone here in the industry. I mean, again, I mentioned our roots are in the kind of the tech world, and it's only kind of through interactions and help talking to users and everyone that we've been able to make these improvements. And so our products are really made possible by a group effort. I have to give everyone in my team credit. The roughly 400 people we have, actually 500. We have an engineering team with in-house capabilities. Our parent company, has been around since 1986, based out of Berkeley, California. And then it's really constant improvement through basically feedback from lighting professionals. So we love to, talk gear, talk usage. We love to go on set, figuring out it's not just the technology that matters, it's how do you use it? Do the brackets make sense? Are they built sturdily? All the rubber we put into it, the ergonomics, the controls, all that stuff matters. And the ultimate test, we can talk about. I mean, there are very good presentations on spectrum and color measurements and tools like that, and we agree with all of them. But we would also just want to keep in mind that get the lights in front of people, try it out. How does it actually look? And so again, we have a lot of demo units, and feel free to contact us at Fiilex. Thank you so much.